But we didn't want to leave the Bay Area. We didn't want to leave where we were. We just didn't want to pick up and walk away. So we decided instead she left the museum and went and got a degree in computers and got a job teaching.
And that was what year was it? Do you remember?
We've been mid 60s to later 60s, somewhere in there. Yeah, as far as Gene's career was concerned, then that was crashing. And instead of hiring her to keep it going, they hired a man instead, who was also there to run the school, but her student likes her a lot better. Anyway, so she then got a job as a programmer at Del Monte, which was, was a big corporation. So she's there, and finally she becomes the administrator of the information, the IT department. There's a vice president or whatever who's the head of it, but she was especially the one who decided which computers we're going to buy and, or we're going to lease, all that kind of. She was the head of all. So anyway, so we always had jobs, and she was always making stuff. She sewed her own clothes. In fact, when she's there at Del Monte, there was a kind of a women's group thing. She goes to that, and there was a book then, Dress for Success. So she started making her own clothes in the Dress for Success style, and walking down Market Street, photographing women who are not dressed for success, and giving talks about what not to wear. Yes, her grandmother had actually been, in the old days of the sweatshops, and before the fire and earthquake, when the grandmother first came over from Italy, she was sewing shirts in the sweatshop on Grand Avenue in San Francisco. So grandma's going to be positive you're going to learn to sew.
Well, it was a very good thing to learn, right?
Yes, it was.
But back to those paintings that you're signing now,
Mm-hmm.
the small pieces. It seems like there's a large body of them.
It was like people do meditation nowadays. This was meditation in effect.
For you.
Yeah.
You bought them not because you have in mind that one day you're gonna be selling them, right?
Not at all.
You bought them you created them because there's a need inside you to express, right?
Yes. It's the impossible. At least this was in the days when everything has to be big, and it still does too.
These are totally the opposite.
Yes.
But you were not limited because of the space that you were doing your artwork. So you created small work because where your studio was, or
Well, when these were first started, a couple years before, the studio then had been originally planned as a screen sun porch, about as big as this space right.
and that was on Mona Lisa, right?
No, it was in our old house. It had the 15 or 18 rooms.
Okay.
And one of the rooms, the bedroom, what was originally probably the master bedroom, had opened into this screen porch because there had been a fad sometime in 1910 or whenever, during the summertime, to sleep in open air. Well, here's your screen. The bugs can't get in, but you're out in the open air. Well, when we moved there, it had been given windows. It had a sink in it. See, another thing about that house, every bedroom had a wash basin. Before that, they don't have a water pitcher and a chamber pot under the bed. This one now is rich and new, and it has a wash basin for every bedroom.
Wow.
Although it only has one toilet on the second floor, and none on the first floor, and one in the basement.
But you have a house with 18 rooms?
That was what we were told. I keep trying to come to Maui, and I think I can get to 16.
16 rooms, that means living room, dining room, kitchen, thing like that. Each.
The living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the sort of beside the kitchen, sort of like a little room about this big. And then there's another room, I've forgotten to count that, off at the side where we usually kept the dog.
Okay.
And then there's, besides the dining room, which was enormous, then there's another dining room which is smaller. And then there's another room, kind of a little bigger than this. When you come in the front door, there's this room here, which was, I suppose, where people are supposed to wait to be introduced, and over here is the living room on this side.
Mm-hmm. But for a family of 5, why do you need that many rooms?
Well, it didn't.